since we've talked about people who have been damaged, people like most of us, I think it's only fair to point out there are a few people around who actually haven't been damaged in this way, and I want to show them as an example, not so much as to glorify them. I don't even know enough about them, but just to see how it is done from a father's point of view. Not so much as a son, but from a father, because I am a father. Even though I haven't got a boy, one day I might have. So I want to read to you something from the biography of Bear Grylls, the survival expert. He's a TV show host and he does survival stuff and all sorts of other things all over the world. He's very, very popular. I believe pretty much everyone knows who Bear Grylls is. At least here he's very popular. I know he is in America too. He describes his relationship with his earthly father in the area of initiation, of being able to push himself and have that warrior spirit. And even though this might belong in the previous session, initiation, they're all connected. So I'm going to read it to you now. In his book, Mud, Sweat and Tears, Bear says this, speaking of him and his father. We also used to talk about Mount Everest as we walked across the fields or the cliff. I love to pretend that some of our climbs were on the summit face of Everest itself. We would move together cautiously across the white chalk faces, imagining they were really ice. I had this utter confidence that I could climb Everest if he were beside me, speaking of his father. I had no idea what Everest would really involve, but I loved the dream together. Those were powerful, magical times, bonding, intimate, fun, and I miss them a lot even today. But it wasn't just climbing. Dad and I would often go to the local stables and hire a couple of horses for a tenner and go jumping the breakwaters along the beach. Every time I fell off in the wet sand and was on the verge of bursting into tears, Dad would applaud me and say that I was slowly becoming a horseman. In other words, you can't become a decent horseman until you fall off and get up again a good number of times. That's a good father. Look at Hemingway's father, look at Theodore Roosevelt's father, look at most fathers. They're not happy when their boy fails. This father is. He said that's how we learn. You are becoming someone. That's why Bear Grylls, I believe, is who he is today. And his warrior spirit, he's a soldier. He was in the special forces. He's not unhealthy at all. He looks like a happy man. Nothing to prove, nothing to hide. He's not this big, tough, macho guy. He doesn't need to be. On one occasion, we were on Dartmoor, a wild part along the UK southwest peninsula, and were staying at a small inn, walking and riding each day. It was in the depth of winter, with snow on the ground, and I can remember how freezing cold it was every day. I couldn't feel the end of my nose at all, which for someone with a big one like myself, even at age 10, was a scary new phenomenon. I started to cry. That usually worked to show that things were serious and needed his attention. But, and this is where the masculine toughness comes in, when it's appropriate. But he just told me to cover up better and push through it. We're on a proper expedition now, and this is no time to whinge or whine. The discomfort will pass, this is what his father told him. So I shut up, and he was right. I felt proud to have endured in my own little way. Moments like that encouraged me to believe that I could persevere, especially, and more importantly, when I felt cold and rotten. Nothing, though, was ever forced on me by him, but a lot was expected if I was to join in these adventures. As my own confidence grew, so did the desire to push myself each time a little bit further. Wow. This is what a father does. You see, he was tough on him when push came to shove. At the right critical moment, and we all need that. We need someone to push and say, you can do this, come on. But he had the right to be tough because he had spent years and years laying the foundations of masculine love. See, when a boy knows that he can be himself in front of his father, we know his weakness, he would accept that toughness and he would say, yes, thank you, daddy. And now, up until the day his father died, he was one of his best friends. I think he was his best person, closest man in the world. Because of that. He wasn't just tough on him. He loved him, and then he was tough. See, masculine love comes first. Masculine input. No matter how many times he fell off that horse, He was just being encouraged to try again and be more and do more next time. With love, not with unhealthy expectations. There are people like that around. And we can be settled, confident, in full control of our anger and warrior ability with nothing to prove. We can be this man. I don't want to swear to you, but I promise you that we can. Change is possible. We need to look deep into our own souls and what we need and what we haven't had. How change comes? By tapping into your, firstly, unexpressed anger.